It can push the
So
air,
move it.
the warm air,
Okay.
and keep it kind of off the ceiling. Another way to save energy is to make sure that the temperature on your water tank is 120 degrees or less.
Okay.
That not only prevents scalding, but also saves you some money.
First, you unscrew the water tank cover. Then you take that off and should be able to see a thermostat.
It looks like your water temperature is set at about 145 degrees.
So it's a little high.
Which is pretty high, yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty hot.
The next very important step is to shut off the power to the water tank. Then you can adjust the thermostat, normally with a screwdriver. And the final step is to replace the cover once again. Seattle City Light wants to make sure that renters understand it isn't just homeowners that can save a lot of electricity. Renters can too, especially when they work with their landlords. I'm Kelly Gunther on Beacon Hill for TVC.
We have a total of 14 different funding sources to make this development possible. We have 59 units, and they actually do range. They're not all at 60% median income. They actually range between 0 and 60% median income. We have set aside 5 units as transitional housing for homeless families. The homeless families are being referred from the Seattle Jobs Initiative program and also from the Church Council Homelessness Project. And so they will also get some services, case management support, and a great, I think, environment for the families to grow up in. In addition to the 5 homeless units, we have 15 units set aside for families and individuals at 30% median income. We have some of the very large, if you went on the tour, very large 1-bedroom units are renting at $200 a month. We also have 15 units, thanks to the Seattle Housing Authority, that are replacement housing units, and they come with Section 8 assistance. And some of the families that we've screened and that are going to be living here, they're paying rents of like $79 a month for a 2-bedroom, because that's 30% of their income. And then we also have units at 50% median income, and then some units at 60% median income. And I think you've all appreciate the views, the wonderful proximity to downtown. It's great for people to work downtown, live nearby. And so we are very, very proud of this successful project. We have a presentation by John Flynn from the City of Seattle Built Smart program.
Sort of in a position, I think I always feel like I'm in this position where we're kind of in here last. I'm kind of humbled by all the energy that it takes to even get a project like this built. I'm kind of a nuts and bolts guy, and what we come in here to do is try to help this project be built as efficiently as it possibly can be, so the affordability extends through the life of the project through making it more energy efficient. I congratulate and commend Sharon and Lehigh for not just building a building, but building a building in the best and most sustainable fashion that they can, and that's what I would like to recognize the Built Smart program. We partner with Lehigh and bring some money into the project in order for them to do this, and that money that we invest in this project, in this case $40,000, is going to pay City Light back and the residents of this project back and the citizens of Seattle back over the full life of this project. The reduction in heat cost alone is estimated to be about 40% for each residence here in electric heat. So as electric rates continue to rise, by participating in this program, Lehigh has ensured that effect is going to be minimized on the tenants here. And thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
And this is we really are in another energy crisis. I think we're just beginning to recognize that. It's not just at the gasoline pump or natural gas, it's electricity, it's across the board. All of the energy sources that we have presently, certainly in this area and in this region, are increasing in price even as we speak. And depending on what happens with the weather and with the power markets, all those could be just the beginning. We are at a situation where we're basically maxed out in our ability to produce power, and we've had a tremendous amount of growth, And so we're really are at the situation where we don't have enough power for the needs. And the answer to that for everybody is to conserve more. For everybody from the people who are at the bottom of the economic rung all the way to the top, that we need to pull together as a community and see that we need, in order to help each other, to conserve across the board. The heart of it is we have a requirement for additional insulation other than what would be required by minimal code. And what that does, of course, is save energy. So the walls, the ceilings, the floors are all better insulated. And we've taken that requirement to what we feel is the most cost-effective increase given our climate and the cost of our situation. We also require higher efficiency windows, which is part of the shell of the building, as you were, part of making the insulation of the building more efficient. This also in turn does something else. It makes the building more comfortable. It makes the building much more evenly heated. There's no drafts. And we also, in addition to actually requiring that the insulation be installed, we have a very stringent quality control program so that we inspect every step of the installation of this. And that has worked out very well with the builders because they appreciate the additional quality control that we offer to the project. So not only is there additional insulation here, but the way it is installed and the way the building is put together is actually better than a normal building because of the additional inspection and quality control. Additionally, we require, because this is electrically heated, a much more accurate thermostat. This means that when somebody sets their thermostat at 7 degrees, that's going to hold that temperature in this unit at 70 degrees or 68 degrees, wherever you set it. There's not going to be a large temperature swing, and it's going to be a much more comfortable environment for them. The idea with that, too, in terms of saving energy, if they don't have large swings in their thermostat and in the temperature of the room, they're going to keep their thermostat set a little lower because they're going to be comfortable at the setting that they set it at rather than having the thermostat droop down and be cooler. Additionally, we require energy-efficient fluorescent lighting. So this, again, both saves energy and it also creates a situation where the tenant is not having to replace the light bulbs nearly as often. This uses about 25% of the energy of an incandescent light, and it lasts 10 times as long. Our requirements for appliances at this point in time are we don't have energy efficient requirements. We do have additional incentives available. The plant situation is such that because of what the federal requirements are, there isn't a great deal of difference until you go to a much more expensive appliance in terms of energy efficiency. So we're working on the appliance side, but at this point in time, there is no requirement, but there is additional money if they do put in the better appliances. And actually in a stove, it doesn't make much difference, but a refrigerator, you can save considerable amount of energy in putting in a better refrigerator. And we do work with the developers to do that. Additionally, besides our concern for energy efficiency, I think one of our major concerns is the health and of the indoor environment. If we're going to make a much tighter building, much more energy efficient without an air leakage, we want to be very concerned with how well maintained the indoor air quality is. And so what we do is we are very stringent about requiring the window vents be put in windows in all rooms, and we recommend and help with installing a continuous exhaust ventilation system in these units. And if we'll go upstairs, we can see that it's much better than is required by state code. In addition to that, one of the things with our quality control and inspection is that we check and confirm all of the flows. And again, you can barely hear this. This makes less noise than the refrigerator, but that's exhausting constantly all the time. Now there's a slight energy penalty for doing that because obviously during the winter we're exhausting hot air. But if we weren't doing that, if we weren't ensuring that you had really good indoor air quality, then we'd really be defeating the purpose. And we used to joke, yeah, you can build a very, very tight house and you can light it with a match, but you can't keep the match lit. So it's very important to keep both of those things in mind. Energy efficiency must be coupled with healthy indoor environment. This building actually uses a central boiler system to heat their hot water. Were they using electric hot water heaters, we would require them to use the most efficient ones that they can buy. We're also working in our program on bringing in additional technologies. Presently, I'm working on looking at elevator technologies that can save considerable amounts of energy in these buildings. So any new technology that has the potential of being energy efficient is something that we're looking at and trying to bring into the program. The Build Smart program is not just an energy efficient program. We're really working with each project to be more resource efficient or more green or more sustainable, whichever one of those words you want to use. So we work with the water department, we work with a solid waste utility. We try to assure, we have some requirements that they must recycle their site construction waste. And we sort of oversee that. We assist them in doing that. It usually ends up saving the builder money to do that. It also reduces the amount of waste that we're going to have in our solid waste system. We try to help them as much as possible with reducing their requirements on their water use. In addition, we're getting into more and more information about more green or sustainable building materials used in the projects. And offering those. We don't have any requirements at this point in time, but we're at an information and consulting point. But that is part of the effort. Again, the foundation of the effort is the energy efficiency, and we expand beyond that to really looking at all the resources that the building uses, both in being built and in its lifetime.
For more information about the Build Smart program or other conservation programs, visit our website at www.cityofseattle.net/light/conserve or call 684-4283. Has been a special report from your Seattle City Light.
It's 2 months behind. It's been on the newsstands and such for 2 months. So.
This Thursday. I'll be downtown in an air-conditioned computer training room.
Everybody will be very jealous. So is there like a meter that in case it goes above a certain temperature, humidity or something like that? No, seriously? Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, they sit on the side, nice dressing. seen my tax button. All for libraries. We're gonna have the biggest library. when I'm president. Big libraries. Great. Maybe I should take up my questions. So are you ready?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Fire away.
Wally, could you tell me what you do here at Northeast?
I'm the Young Adult Services Librarian. I visit schools. I'm supposed to do some book talks and programs. Still working up to that at this point.
Great. And what is your favorite part of the job? You had it for not a very long time, but
I really like the reference questions. People come in with anything, and you have to find an answer. You at least do your best shot at getting them something.
do kids come in especially with interesting questions for homework and whatever?
Yeah, some good homework questions from time to time. Of course, it's summertime now, so I can't remember a single one that they had. But yeah, kids have good ones, and the little kids really have good ones. They'll be, why is the sky blue? That sort of thing. Sometimes you have to find them an answer.
Great. Why do you like working at this particular branch?
It's busy. It is the busiest branch besides downtown, so it's always hopping. There's always something to do here.
Do you get a lot of kids that come in even during the summer months?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, with the summer reading club too, we have a ton of kids that come in all the time. And, they want their stickers and their stamps and their prizes, and they just want to read more books, and they want recommendations for more books. So it's very busy during the summer.
Great. When kids come in, do they mostly look for books, or are they going to the computers, or is it kind of a split?
Mostly a book thing, yeah. For kids, yeah, I'd say more adults go for the computers at this point. I do see some kids who are like in the teenage years going for the computers, but not that many, all told. Really, it's mostly the adults at the computers and the little kids for the books.
Okay, great. What kind of people would you say use this branch? What would typify a Northeast branch user?
Hard to say. People who live in the neighborhood, I guess, which is just about everybody. This is the busiest branch outside of downtown, so anybody and everybody who lives right around here comes in. A lot of people just walk right in. See people come in their jogging suits. They're all sweaty and trying to find that bestseller, so just jog right in.
Great. Are there any special people or clients that you could tell me about, or patrons that you've enjoyed helping over your time here? That's fine. You'll think of one tomorrow morning.
Some tourists. Yeah, I had some tourists that were looking for Chief South's grave back in May or something, and they're that's over in Suquamish. So, but I gave them a map. Pointed out it's right over here. And it looks like this, and it's about this big. And it's at the top of the hill, that sort of thing. So that was fun.
Great. Are there any programs or projects that you're excited about here at the Northeast branch? What part of your job?
Well, I haven't done any programs here myself. I've been mainly just aiming to get the young adult fiction collection up to speed and really, make it something that young adults are going to come in and say, oh yeah, there's, a lot of good stories there and stuff. So.
I guess there's a lot of trends now. I've been reading in young adult fiction, kind of different kinds of books than we read when we were, that age. What kind of books do the kids seem interested in from your experience?
There's always a group who really go for the science fiction, fantasy angle. That's all they'll read. And I have to admit, I was one of those kids when I was that age. Then there's the others who just want realistic fiction. They don't want anything that doesn't sound real at all. They just want straight stories. And there's some kids who really like the historical fiction, whether it took place in the Civil War or World War II or 15 years ago. That's historical enough for them. So.
Anybody reading Charles Dickens anymore?
When their teachers tell them to. Sometimes, if a kid is an older kid, older teenager, and they're looking for something a little that's going to stretch them a little bit, it's a little out there, I'll bring them over to the classics collection. I'll pull out a few that really appeal to that age. Charles Dickens' Great Expectations is a good one. Huckleberry Finn is a great one. Catcher in the Rye. Stuff that's got to make them think a little bit more than just the straight run-of-the-mill stuff that's published mostly today.
Okay, great. Why do you think the library is an important part of this community?
Well, the books. So many people come in here just looking for a book, and some people have specific requests. They want the latest bestseller and such, and we provide them with that or a reserve on that. Other people come in, they'll have obscure questions. We just cover the gamut. Everybody wants to know something, and we seem to be a focal point for them. That's really nice.
Great. Okay. Good, Wally. That's all I needed.
Great.
Yeah. Wonderful. You're terrific. You're very relaxed on camera.
I've been on camera once before, back when I was working in Quick Information.
Basically all my life, with a hiatus when I moved back east. But I came here as a child, and now I bring my children here.
Oh, that's great.
So.
Okay. So we'll start with the camera rolling. Eleanor, how long have you been coming to the Northeast branch?
Let's see, 5 years, and then I came from when I was 3 till I moved away from home. So, long time.
Great. What do you like best about this branch?
Well, Gail's a real asset. She's enthusiastic, and she seems to know the children, and she reads everything, adult books, children's books, and she's always good to make good suggestions, and she's a real asset. Then it's just, I actually like the size of it. It's small enough that you know where your kids are, and you know the people, and there's a lot of good books here.
Great. How often do you usually come here?
At least once a week. I bring the boys up, and my husband tends to bring the boys up because we both like to come here. So the boys make it up here at least twice a week. It's so close.
Okay, great. What's the best feature you think about the children's area?
The best feature? Maybe that'd be Gail again. It's a great selection of books for the kids. There's always new books and old favorites. A nice mixture.
Why do you think that the library is important to this neighborhood?
Oh boy. I just can't imagine the neighborhood without a library. I just can't imagine it.
Okay.
Sort of like having a grocery store, a gas station. It's part of life.
Okay,
So.
great. That's all we needed.
Oh, what about Simon?
Simon, what do you think?
He says,
Simon.
I can't read yet.
Just in time.
Were you photogenic?
He was.
Were you with your mohawk?
Yeah.
I'll go over there and see if they want me in the movies. Beat them up as quick as you can. Put them on. I recommended you, Sarah. There's the next English teacher. Avid reader.
and lots of artists here today. So each one of you should remember to put your own name on your own picture there, so it doesn't get set down and mixed up with anybody else's. Right. Okay. Thank you. Are you all done?
That's cool. The thing from Rachel last time. You know what? Chloe Cures is really good because it looks like there's this little tiny Pippi and a big giant monster.
Postcard? Huh?
I gave him a postcard. I'm gonna get this. I gave him a postcard. I don't know what. Did I get this one?
The one to draw?
Daniel, do you want to get some felt pens and draw something else? Some eyes. And a smiley face in mouth. And another eye. And now do the body.
I can't really do.
Now what about the arms, sweetie?
Zizi.
because we have up to spring '98, but we have not received summer '98. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, I didn't see dates on the cards of when we received the previous issues, but the patrons